Our next guest is the star of the popular Netflix series Heartstopper, who's now winning rave reviews for his performance on Broadway. Kit Connors scored an Emmy for his role in that Netflix series and is also known for playing a young Elton John in Rocketman and as the voice of Bright Bill in The Wild Robot. Now Connor is starring on Broadway in the latest adaptation of the iconic William Shakespeare play Romeo and Juliet. He plays the teenage love-struck Romeo who falls in love with Juliet, the daughter of a rival family. The revival, though, takes a modern twist in a production complete with vape pens, teddy bears, and edgy street clothes. And Kit Connor joins us now. This morning, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before we get to specifics of the play, I got to ask, we were sort of talking about this in the break, actors that go to Broadway for the first time, it's always that question of fear, want, where was it for you, and what is the reality like now that you're there?
Well, as I kind of said to you earlier, I think I have done a little bit of theatre back in London sort of throughout my childhood as an actor.
Yeah.
And it's always been something that I kind of wanted to go back to, especially as an adult. And Shakespeare's always been something that I've loved and had a real adoration for. So this was kind of the perfect thing for me in terms of getting to spend some time in New York and, become a bit of a New Yorker and yeah, come back to the stage. It's been pretty amazing. You do kind of learn to be an actor, I think, on the stage more than you ever can in front of a camera, I suppose.
And loving those Broadway audiences, too.
Exactly. They're great fun.
It was so incredible. We were there last night, and, this is the 36th revival of Romeo and Juliet on Broadway. How intimidating is that to play Romeo for the 36th time here on Broadway? And what did you do to make it your own?
Well, I think that's kind of one of the fun things about it is it's kind of the first time I've been able to play a role that is so iconic and has had so many of the greats play it. A lot of my heroes have played this role, so it was kind of, there was definitely a little bit of fear going into it and a desire to make it my own, I suppose. But I think also one of the beauties of doing a play like this is you kind of have to go into it as if it's a brand new play and as if it's something that's never been touched before and a role that's never been touched before. And yeah, it's been really fun to be able to kind of create our own Romeo and Juliet.
And your co-star, speaking of Juliet, Rachel Zegler, is fantastic. An incredible talent.
Yeah.
She is small but mighty. That voice just bellows and captures the room. The chemistry is vital to the storyline between you two. How did you build that up before you went on the stage?
Well, it was really, I think that chemistry when doing something like this is always a scary thing because we'd never met before we signed on to this. So we were incredibly lucky. We just kind of, throughout the rehearsal process, got to know each other. And I think there's also doing these beautiful scenes with this beautiful language. It's hard not to just kind of have fun with it and play. And I think that one thing that Rachel's really good at is playing in these scenes. And that's, especially in the theatre, that's what you really need to do. So often those scenes between Romeo and Juliet, and there aren't many, surprisingly, but those scenes are often my favorite to play just because they're so...
Intense.
Yeah, intense and exciting. You know, it's got to be new every night.
Yeah, there's a physicality to this role, too.
Oh, boy.
And in the round. How does that impact the performance and even just the preparation for the performance?
Well, I think that it wasn't something that going into it wasn't something that I knew about this role. It wasn't so much this is going to be a really physical role. It just kind of happened, in the space. It felt appropriate to be this young kid running around and being super excited and in love. So, yeah, really, as I was saying, the hardest thing is getting the words out when you're panting and sweating. But
because you're up the stairs, down the stairs, jumping on things. You guys are in the rafters. It's really...
He did a pull-up at one point.
He did a pull-up.
He went in for a kiss. I said, man, I got to work out.
Everybody
man.
in the audience was like, can I do a pull-up? Like, it was amazing.
There it is right there.
Yeah. There it is.
Triceps just popping.
Yes.
I said, man, I need to step my game up, man. All the men in there were thinking the same thing.
Listen, it's really, I think that's probably the easiest part of the show.
But there was such energy in such a young audience.
Yeah, which is great.
When I left, there were like groupies waiting. I don't know how long it took you to get out of there, but it was just amazing how you guys have made Shakespeare relevant for the new generation.
Yeah. That's really the exciting thing for me, I think, is being able to make it feel accessible and having a story that is hundreds of years old that can still feel relevant.
Yeah.
Well,
incredible work.
Yeah. And we know we've got a new movie, Warfare, coming out for you too, so there will be no rest for Kit Connor. Thank you so much, though, for joining us. We appreciate it. Romeo and Juliet is playing now at Broadway's Circle and Square Theater through February 16th.